Hey, Gator Nation, welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. This is the raw reaction for the Florida Gators 29-16 victory over those damn Tennessee Volunteers. Baby, we did it. Billy and the gang got the job done in a must-win game, as some were calling it. Obviously, we had our opinions on that on our show, but man, feels good to be a Gator this morning. We did what we needed to do. Guys, make sure you're checking us out on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel, man. Going to be videos like this after every game this season. And make sure you catch our regular show weekdays. It drops Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And drop a like on the video. Leave us a comment down below. Give your thoughts on Billy Napier and the Gators win over Tennessee. What did you like? What did you don't like? Let us hear it, man. All right, boys, let's jump right into it, man. As always, this is what we do. We just give our thoughts, what we liked, what we didn't like. Not a whole lot to not like. Obviously, we got a few things, but Wes, I'm gonna let you go first. I know you're tired, man. You already been up early this morning. So what did you think, man? I know you're hyped this morning.
Yeah, man. Just to piggyback on what you were talking about as far as must-win game, and we put that in quotes, and I talked about it. It wasn't a must-win game as far as Napier's job, but we need to get on track as far as beating our rivals. So in that area, to me, it was a must-win game, and they came out and did what they needed to do. The thing I didn't like the throttling it down in the second half, and I'm sick of the kicking mishaps that we had. I mean, in the first half, we go all the way down, and it kind of, I was like, man, we about to have one of those games. We go all the way down, kind of got stalled down there on second and third down, missed the field goal. Tennessee comes right back down and scores like they do, like the Tennessee that of last year. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be one of those games. And then ETN breaks his 62, 66, something like that yard run. To assumingly tie the score. We missed the extra point, but that bounce back was key. I think we scored on every drive in the first half, except for the kneel down and the missed field goal at the beginning. So that was stupid as far as the what we were doing in the first half, as far as long sustaining drive, keeping Tennessee on the sideline by taking up time, eating up clock. And I talked about last week how we ran the ball last week and how I thought that would be good for this week and upcoming as far as those reps. People were kind of like, why are we not opening up? Why are we ain't throwing the ball over the yard? Because we are a running team. We have a great defense. And I don't know, when I say I was mad about us throttling down in the second half, I can't really be too mad if Billy's like, shoot, my defense is kicking ass. Why I put the game in harm's way with a turnover or something bad to put them back in the game. So shout out to the offensive line. They did a hell of a job for ETN and Montreal. Saw Trey Wilson at the beginning of the game. I was like, damn, he might be that dude. I'm glad to hear that his injury is not like something long term, but the offensive in the whole was good. I thought Trevor would probably break that 1,000 yard barrier this year as far as rushing, because he will be the back to get those long breaking runs, and we see that in the offense. Montreal, he gets the, I mean, he has the combination of doing it both. He gets the tough yards as well, like Montreal does, but then you see him gets the 7, the 10, the 12, the 15, and then you saw the 62 yarder. And I can't close out without talking about Mertz. 17 or 20 in that first half, making plays out of the pocket, putting balls on the ball to Jackson and Trey Wilson on the sideline was masterful. The fake pump thing he did with the third down. I think we were like 6 or 7 on third down conversions in the first half. Third down was good. Got to talk about the defense a little bit, and I'll let you have it, CJ. Scooby had a night last night. Tyreek Sapp with the sack. I saw Castell make some plays. Shamar, this probably wasn't his best game out of the first 3, but Scooby, the other backer, took care of that. Cam Jackson, Desmond Watson. I mean, guy after guy. Moore had to pick. I talked about the pick, us creating turnovers. That was a twofold. D-line makes the play, get an errant throw. Devin Moore gets the pick. Love that. Still want more turnovers, want more sacks as well. But it was a good team victory for the Gators, and love Trace Mack coming in there and nailing the taking over as far as field goal. He is the scholarship kid, so I always wanted to put him in there anyway. So love that, love the whole, love the mantra, love the where we going. And I keep saying I'm cut off, but this is my last thought. I said Utah. If I could flip the Utah from last year in Tennessee, I would love it. And we, as Gator fans, we loved it. So go Gators.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, man. Like you alluded to, and I want to throw that out there for anybody watching before CJ gets started. If you haven't heard, Billy did say in his post-game press conference that X-rays on Eugene Wilson's shoulder came back negative. I had tweeted out last night from my personal account, and some of you that follow recruiting already know this, that Eugene Wilson had broken his collarbone last season in high school ball. So obviously, whenever you break a bone, there's always a fear that you'll break it again, and that was my instant thought was, oh no, he's broken his collarbone again when you saw him holding his shoulder the way he was. But Billy came out in the press conference, said the x-rays came back clean. No timetable on what the injury is, of course. You're not going to get that. Obviously, we play Charlotte next week. Good week for Trey regardless. I think you're going to see a lot of guys sitting out this game after that game last night. You saw a lot of guys banged up, a lot of guys getting hurt, including Graham and Montrell, So this is a good week to get rest up, to get healed up, and hopefully not have to put a lot of guys, in serious situations next week so they can rest up. All right, CJ, what did you think, man? I know you're excited.
Oh man, anytime you beat Tennessee is a great time. You go with. I posted this morning and said, basketball got their lick back, baseball got theirs, and now football got theirs. All in the 2023 calendar year. So that's always good. Yeah, a lot of you owe Graham Mertz an apology, first and foremost, for the absolute dogging that was completely unnecessary through the entire off season to now where he's at, being a great leader for the football team. Dude has put on for the logo. He's willing to put his life on the line for the logo. He had no use of either of his hands by the end of that game, to the point where he's wearing a glove on one, he's bleeding out the other, his towel's covered in blood. He's still, out there playing, slinging it, doing his thing. Dude loves it. I think the team's embraced him. The fan base now is starting to embrace him, and that's going to be key. You really see a lot of what Graham Mertz was really capable of that they didn't really do at Wisconsin. He's a more capable runner than I think we thought he could be, as far as getting outside of the pocket and making things, happen, because Wisconsin didn't, I don't think, ever let him have a chance to do that. So how would you ever know? Michael Mazuka is that dude. He's, a lot of people, I think, originally, there was the transfer portal fiasco and the injury, and people, there was some circles talking about, oh well, this is him. He doesn't really want to work hard. He's bad mindset, whatever. But man, man, if you square up against your rivals to protect your quarterback, you're A1 in my book. Good on him for sticking up, playing a great game. The offensive line is a unit, has progressed from where we saw them against Utah to now have really started to come together. Damian George is playing a lot better. There's a few things that he still needs to work with, that I saw last night, namely the one touchdown, run by Montrell Johnson. He kind of got turned around there. I don't know what exactly happened there, but he couldn't really find the blockers. But no, there was a lot of great stuff to love. Cameron Jackson played phenomenally. Just
Sorry, guys. I was muted, and we lost CJ due to some technical issues. Our bad right there.
I was like, is mine messing up now? Because I was like, you were talking. I was like, I can't hear. But now I know you were muted, so I feel better.
It's okay. I'm muted. CJ's internet lagged up. It's Sunday morning, guys, and we're not all awake yet. But we're gonna fight right through this because, damn it, we're excited and we're not turning back now. I'm gonna go ahead and just give my thoughts real quick while CJ gets his situation there fixed. Things I loved. Obviously, Graham Mertz is a leader. He played his ass off for this football team last night. Everything you could ask of your quarterback, aside from, obviously he didn't throw the ball all over the yard, but he led by example. He led by toughness. He made plays when he needed to make plays. And just great stuff from Graham. Other things, Trevor Etienne is one of the best running backs in the country. I don't think it's even close. If he played behind an offensive, somebody else had tweeted this out. If he played behind Georgia's offensive line, he'd put up unbelievable numbers. But our offensive line played really good last night. Let me another stat that I thought, we said we wanted to play clean football, and we had like 4 penalties for 20 yards in the game. And I mean, that's pretty clean. Obviously, we had Damian George went off sides real early in the game, and it was like, oh, here we go again. Please, God, don't do it. and they cleaned it up, man. They played really solid, clean football. One of my keys to victory when we talked about this game on Wednesday night was we needed to stop the run. We needed to sell out to stop the run. Tennessee had 30 carries for 100 yards. And a lot of that obviously came later in the game when our defense was worn out and they were able to rush up to the line faster, and we were still kind of dragging around because we weren't able to catch our breath. And that leads back to something that I didn't like, and they had already alluded to it, was I wasn't real thrilled with Billy's offensive play calling in the second half. Just because of the fact that it didn't allow the defense to get rested in a situation where they needed the offense just needed, if they'd have got a couple of those first drives, if they'd have got an extra first down and kept the defense on the sideline to be able to just get a breather for another 2 to 3 minutes, I think you would have seen us much sharper in some of those situations going on late into the third quarter, early fourth quarter. Obviously, that is what it is. I don't know the injury situation as well. Obviously, like we said, both of Graham's hands got hurt. I don't know how effective he would have been throwing the ball down the field. That could have been a possibility. The only real pass down the field he threw at that point was the completion to Douglas in the fourth quarter. That was only like I don't even remember. It was like 10, 12 yards. It wasn't a very long pass. So they just really tried to lean on that running game. And for their credit, I mean, the offensive line did everything they could to hold up and to block. But Tennessee Tennessee knew what our game plan was at that point, sold out to stop it. I mean, it just that's the breaks. I would love for us to find a way to get some more wide receivers involved. That is a concern to me. We heard about Eugene. We heard about Mizell. We heard about Boardingham, who had one catch for a few yards. One catch for 5 yards. But none of these guys are really involved in the offense right now. Now, I know Eugene had a knee tweak that he's still probably fighting through. Khalil Jackson made a really great catch. That toe tap catch he did on the sideline is just phenomenal. The kid makes great catches. Caleb Douglas makes great catches. Where's Frazier's at? Wes's man he's a ghost. So, I mean, I don't know how these kids are performing in practice. I don't know what the staff is seeing. Obviously, Graham has a great rapport with Ricky, so he leans on Ricky. But, man, running downhill screens, Some of those, we've become way too screen heavy. I didn't like the fact that we didn't run any of the swing passes in the second half either that were very successful. And Kurt kept alluding to in the first half that nobody was following Ricky when he went into motion. And it was like, we were like, nah, well, it was working, so let's not do it anymore. I mean, once again, I'm not seeing what they're seeing from the box. Obviously, when the game breakdowns start to come out, maybe we'll see something that Tennessee adjusted to that a little bit more than we think. Just way too vanilla for my liking. In that situation, you really want to see your coach. Urban Meyer would have stepped on their throat, but Billy's got a different style. So he also has a younger team with less depth right now. So a lot of those are the problems we're facing. But all in all, played a clean game, played hard for 4 quarters. The defense is, I don't care what anybody says, the defense is so vastly improved. If you can't see it, I don't know what to do for you.
I think
a lot of good.
Yeah. I think this was Heupel's 3rd lowest scoring game since he's been at Tennessee. So.
And let's be honest. I mean, they hit a couple of big plays on us. You saw Jakeem Jackson. I didn't like him being man to man on McCoy in the 4th quarter, but I know they have a lot of faith in the kid. But I mean, that just, to me, that seemed like a mismatch in that. And Milton got it, to his credit. That was one of the few throws that he made.
I think King was frustrated. The coverage initially was good when you went back and watched.
He got shivved. He absolutely got shivved, but that's big boy football in the SEC, and we know that.
Right.
And that's Jakeem Jackson not quite having the body type yet.
Yeah.
As a true freshman in college, that kid don't look like he's 170 pounds when you see him on the field next to someone like Brew McCoy. I mean, he's gonna take them shivs in those little shake-offs and things like that, and he'll get better. He's not bad now.
That's why I'm glad he got the experience of it. Like, okay, next time I know.
Yeah, and that's a thing. You know how these kids respond to something like that. That'll be something that he's like, you ain't getting me next time. Joke. Now I know. So hey, props to him for earning the spot to be out there and in those big situations. I mean, Devin Moore was big, and Castell is an absolute beast.
Yeah,
Wes been hyping that man since he committed, and that man is every bit of as advertised. He is going to be a 3 to 4 year starting safety for the University of Florida, in the mold of all the safeties that we hold up on a pedestal here. He brings the heat, he brings coverage, he ain't scared to get his nose in there. We might have to start having a talk about Mitchell on the other side if he can't start. Hey, Scooby Williams is a dog.
Yep.
Scooby Williams deserves all the respect. He played his ass off last night. I think he outplayed Shamar last night easily. Yep. I saw Shamar miss a couple of tackles that it looked like he just kind of gave up on. Like he was like, oh, well, they got it.
Yeah.
Instead of helping clean the pile up. And I know that'll be addressed on film because all the film reveals all. So I know Armstrong, you see how hype he is. I can only imagine him in a film breakdown. He's probably going to be like, what the is that? We don't let guys drag us 4 or 5 yards downfield.
Yeah.
And that's just the attitude you can tell he puts out. So a lot of good, a lot to clean up, a good week to have that problem. You get a cupcake game so much this week. You can let some guys rest. You can work on some things. You get ready for Kentucky, who doesn't look like world beaters. They don't look, they got their own sets of problems. Yes, they beat up on Akron, but they were, it wasn't a great game if you go back and look at it. So we'll talk about all that down the road. If you haven't heard, Florida Gators got a great commitment from 2025 running back Waltez Clark. We talked about him on our show on Wednesday. Waltez Clark is a huge 2025 running back. He's 128 in the composite at a plant. Got us a Tampa kid, So that's a big win. A lot of people feel like he's running back one on the staff's board. Florida kid, like I said, he's 6'2", big kid. So hyped to be a Gator, committed right after the game. Word on the street is recruiting went great. There's pictures out there. Billy was standing at midfield recruiting kids at 11:45 at night last night, man. Like, what more can you do? I love the guy. I do want to see him be a little bit more aggressive on offense. I think we all do. I'd like to see today that Chris Couch puts in his resignation from the University of Florida, but I'm not expecting it. Hopefully Billy just kind of silently says, "You're done." We'll deal with that later on. We don't need distractions. Like y'all said, Trey Smack is my kicker. Do your thing, Trey, until you miss one, and then we'll rag you too, because that's what we do. Great win. Just really excited. It's great to wake up on a Sunday back in the W column, especially against a rival, one that we hate like we hate Tennessee. You saw their classlessness at the end of the game there. Heupel didn't get himself any fandom by calling that timeout with 7 seconds left in the game. There's nothing good in the world that could have come of that. He set that all up. No word on if there'll be any suspensions for what happened afterwards. I could possibly see Mazuka not being able to play next week. And if so, it is what it is. They stood up for the quarterback. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to see. You saw the entire offensive line ready to wreck shop for their quarterback, which tells you how much they like Graham Mertz. They did what needed to be done, and that's the kind of attitude I want to see out of my Florida Gators. Not just swarming to the ball, but swarming to somebody that's out of line, after a hard-fought game like that. So, Wes, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah. I want a quick question before we wrap it up. I'm the hype man, and I have always more wins than I should be probably putting down. But we're a quarter way through the season, game 3 out of 12. With watching some of the teams that we have to play on our schedule, and now seeing us improve, than maybe we thought we would look, especially against Tennessee, and seeing the Missouri, and even though they had a great win yesterday against K-State, and seeing Arkansas is looking better now than I thought.
They still took an L.
Yeah. They didn't lost?
They lost 38-31 to BYU.
Oh, okay, my bad. Well, scratch that. I thought they were looking good, but okay. In general, was besides LSU and Georgia and maybe Florida State, which they had a game where they should have lost yesterday. Besides those big three, LSU, Georgia, and FSU, how do you expect us to go in and beat Missouri, beat Kentucky, beat Arkansas, beat Vandy, beat South Carolina? Do you count? In your mind, are you looking like those are games we should win? The other three, I would probably say, we I don't think we will win, but I'm just giving you quarter way through the season so far. How do you feel?
I feel, with the exception of what I saw out of LSU yesterday, we can beat any team on the schedule on any given Saturday. Now, if that LSU team that I watched play Mississippi State yesterday, they can beat our doors off if we don't play our absolute best football game from A to Z. But you know how LSU is. They're up and down, rivalry game. It happens. We just struggle with running quarterbacks as a whole. Yeah. That's our MO. Now, until I see us not struggle against running quarterbacks, because we haven't seen Armstrong play against any yet outside of Milton, who didn't really run. And he could have. There were times Milton could have run last night and probably put a hurting on us. But he's inept, and we were thankful. I have to see our discipline on defense against a running quarterback. Do I think we can beat Kentucky? Absolutely. Do I think we can beat Missouri? For sure. Arkansas will be a challenge just because of when the game is after Georgia.
Yeah.
Now, but last year after Georgia, we went to A&M and got a victory. This year we're at home. We're wearing the black unis. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because like I've said before, it seems like any time a team goes with an alternate uniform, that's what their focus is on. And it's not just Florida, anybody. Like, it's just alternate uniforms never seem to do anything for anybody. Can we beat Georgia? I don't know how we can perform on offense against Georgia, but it's there. They're not the team that they were the last 2 years. I mean, it's quite obvious. And you know the emotions for that game is different. We play different. Now, you're going to have to scheme your ass off because I can tell you right now what Kirby's seen on tape from us so far probably ain't scaring him.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is going to come back to, can you stay healthy? Because Graham can't keep getting hit like this. Because the backup spot, I mean, we know what Jack Miller is, and I don't even know if he's still healthy enough to actually play. Max Brown ain't ready for that kind of football. It just is what it is. The wide receiver room is scary right now because what do you have? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Montrell went out, but I don't know if you can consistently keep giving Trevor 20-plus carries a game. Because he takes shots too. I mean, you saw Trey Webb get some burn, but he's not the decision maker yet that Montrell or Trevor is. And that'll come. You know how that is with any kind of football. You have to get used to seeing those blocks open up. Like college offensive linemen block quicker and faster than your high school offensive linemen, but the defense closes the gap faster too. You've got to make those decisions so much quicker about, there's the whole go. And that's what I did. That's one other little complaint I had last night in that late, and as it got in the fourth quarter, like when Montrell came back in the game after he was out for a little bit, it was like he didn't want to cut upfield. Like he was just running east and west instead of north and south.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, man, it's easier to run forward than it is side to side. Get upfield. He was one-on-one with a DB, and he tried to juke him.
Yeah, that's the one I was making because I think he was like short of the first down. That was
like by 2-3 yards, and I'm like, just put your shoulder down and press on that man, because that's what Montrell is. We were having a talk in a group chat that we're in about Trevor versus Montrell, and I was like, the play calling when Montrell's in seems different. It's like a north-south running call, and the linebackers know, and if you watch, they shoot the gaps faster. Like they're like, oh, well, Montrell's in, he's just gonna run a gap, it's not like he's going to run. It's counter plays for Trevor that they run a lot of change of direction plays. And I understand why. I mean, that's the types of backs they are, but you've got to mix it up a little bit so the defense isn't keying on, there's two, I'm going to shoot the gap because he don't run outside.
Yeah. I like him more with the stretch runs where he can just take one cut and go. Those are his type of runs when he can see there it is.
When we pull. When we pull guards, we seem to run really well. Running between the guards right now is not where we're making money. That
duo and power is not. It's not doing it.
But hey, like we said, you watch tape, you start to identify, and then you adjust to what your team's strengths and weaknesses are. That's what a good head coach will do. We will see how Billy adjusts. Guys, we're not going to take up any more of your time on this beautiful Sunday or Monday, whenever you may be watching this. Enjoy Victory Sunday. Enjoy it with your family. Enjoy watching your NFL team. I hope they win unless they're playing mine. CJ, unfortunately, CJ's having some internet technical difficulties, so he apologizes to everybody for not being able to finish this out. I know he's excited. Feels good, man. Feels good to get that rivalry win. Feels good to just beat Tennessee, period. Feels good to be 2-1, beat a ranked team. A lot of questions got answered last night, but there's still some out there. Hopefully we get some good answers here coming up in a few weeks. Wes, you got anything to add?
Nah, man, it's a great day to be a Gator.
Yes, it is. It is a great day. All right, guys. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the victory. We do it all again next week. Go Gators.
Go Gators.